What's up, everybody? Welcome to the King Closers Formula. I am the King Closer, RJ Bates III, coming to you on this beautiful Tuesday at 2:22 p.m. And today we're doing this shotgun style. I don't have anything in particular to talk about, except all things wholesale and real estate. We're just going to do this live Q&A style. So I hope you guys have some questions for me, because otherwise this is going to be one hell of an awkward live. So, welcome, everybody, to today's Tuesday Live. I was bumping Saturday Love before he popped up. Appreciate it. What's up, Mr. Zawacki? Kip Stevens in the house. Mr. Robert Blaine, Jason, Dustin. Dustin, excited to have you joining TU on next Monday. Crispy Bacon. Let's go indeed. What's up, AJ's Fab? Beard is on point today. That's hilarious, because I actually didn't do anything. Beard is actually crazy today. What's up, Saudi? What's up, Matthew? Noel on the Big Island. What's up, Mr. Matt Martinez? All right, we got our first question in here. Let's see what we got here. How do you find buyers? I got a deal in Birmingham, Alabama. Well, first of all, congratulations. We have done quite a few deals in Birmingham, Alabama. So, a couple of different things. One, if you have not joined the Vault on Facebook, that's our free Facebook group. You could go in there and you can promote the deal. Hey, I've got a deal in Birmingham, Alabama. Who's a cash buyer? You would probably get several responses there. You could also search inside the group for Birmingham, and you could see previous posts of people saying, hey, I got a deal in Birmingham. The Facebook group has been around for, I believe, going on 6 or 7 years. There's 18,000 plus members in there. I know there are numerous posts about specifically Birmingham, Alabama in there. So I would go scrape that Facebook group. One of the things that you could do, this is kind of a social media Facebook hack, is each one of those previous posts where, you know, cash buyers were commenting on the previous Birmingham, Alabama, reply to each one of those messages. Hey, I've got a deal. If you're looking for one right now, let me know. I'll shoot you over the details. So what that does is it reboosts inside the algorithm that post. So that would be the number one quickest and easiest way to get free buyers, right? And you can do that in multiple posts or multiple Facebook groups. Second, utilizing a dispositions platform, which if you're not familiar with the ones that we use, I'll drop a link in here for you to the fleet. So a couple of the platforms that we use actually have free trials. So Investor Base, Investor Lift. Investor Lift is actually, you can join for free, and then you can rent buyers in specific locations. And so you could go in there and you could see who are the VIP buyers in Birmingham, and then rent them and send them the deal. You would have to actively work that. You would have to call them and text them and email them and whatnot. And then Investor Base would probably be the most cost-effective way, because you're just paying a monthly rate, and then it gives you the contact information, and then you kind of reach out to them and try to work that deal. So those would be the best ways for you to find a buyer yourself in Birmingham. If not, if you can't do that yourself, then, you know, after a couple of days of trying to work it, I would suggest doing a JV with someone that's a known wholesaler in the Birmingham market. Tyler said, hey, RJ, can you do more live streams if you call on sellers live with Jerry Norton, please? Funny enough, Tyler, Thursday at 2:22, Jerry and I are going to be going live, calling sellers ourselves. We're going to be using property leads. It's going to be Jerry's first time live calling sellers using property leads. Obviously, I love property leads, so we're going to be doing that on Thursday. And then later this month, you guys are in for a treat. We're going to be doing our annual closers formula live. So June 24th, tentatively speaking, will be closers formula 3.0. I'm going to be going through the closers formula from front to back. And then right after that, we'll be doing somewhat of a pseudo like acquisitions week where there'll be multiple lives with speed to lead, property leads, lead solo. Some of them will include Jerry if he's available. Some of them will also include bringing on like Titanium University members. And then, of course, myself. Do I have anything in Oregon? Actually, funny enough, Russell, we are locking up a deal in Oregon as well. We had two, but someone that just joined Titanium University kind of has first dibs on that. So, Russell, what I would say is down here in the chat, if you want to go ahead and join our buyers list, that is the link that I just dropped there, titaniumprops.com. You can go in there, you can join, put what markets you want to get deals in, and we'll make sure to send those. I saw your video on Tennessee. I've been told to start wholesaling in my backyard market rather than starting virtually. So in regards to Nashville, how in the world do I find my first deal here? So listen, I talked about how Nashville can be somewhat of a more difficult city in comparison to Knoxville or Memphis or some of the more rural markets like Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, whatnot. But Nashville you could still get deals there. And the part of the reason why we don't get deals is because how we handle our lead generation. So, for example, we are big on the nationwide leads from LeadZolo, property leads, and then we utilize the nationwide coupon club and active lead from speed to lead. And what that does is we get the leads that essentially nobody else wants. And it's going to be rare that a Nashville lead is not purchased. And if it's not purchased, it's normally for a reason. And so for you getting started, well, one, just because someone told you to start wholesaling in your backyard does not mean that you should do that. That's a myth, right? You don't have to wholesale in Nashville because you live in Nashville. Now, if you want to wholesale in Nashville, okay, you can go and you can spend a little bit extra on leads, getting exclusive leads in that market. Just so you have enough lead flow. You could get the surrounding counties of Nashville included in that. But for me in particular, if I were you and I'm looking at this and that's a legitimate concern that you have, like, how am I going to get my first deal? Well, then ignore the noise. If I had listened to what everybody else in this industry had told me to do, I would have never gone to all 50 states. And so I looked at it and I said, I want to open up my opportunities. And so this is where you have to think, what is the hard that you want to deal with in your business? Right now, if you listen to everybody else, what they're telling you is you need to go get a deal in Nashville because it's going to be easy to dispo. It's going to be easy to comp and underwrite because you know the market, you know everybody in Nashville, right? I guess that's what their thought process is. It would be easier for you to wholesale there. However, you know you're already admitting it that it's more difficult on the acquisition side. Well, that's the case for everybody. So I made the decision that, hey, I'm going to make acquisitions easier for myself. I'm going to open it up so you can open it up and say, I want to do the entire state of Tennessee. And then you know that the more difficult part about that is going to be on dispositions. However, at least you have something to monetize at that point. You have opportunities to get disposition softwares nowadays, where in the past you could not do that. They didn't exist. So it's easier to locate in buyers. And you have a plethora of resources in JV partners that can help you dispo in the state of Tennessee. I mean, just inside of Titanium University, we probably have 20, 25 members in Tennessee across the entire state. So there's plenty of opportunities to reach out to people, joint venture, or utilize the softwares that exist. So just because somebody said it doesn't mean it's what you should do. I have a flip I'm about to dispo. I'm excited to get it done and focus more on wholesale and actually make money. Said every flipper ever. I love it. I got a couple very rural deals. Any tips? So when it comes to rural, what I like to look at is how many buyers do I have in the county? And then I'm basing it off of that. Now, I would have done this either one prior to purchasing the lead. Now, if you're doing the nationwide leads from Property Leads or Lead Zolo, you have no choice, right? They're just going to send you anything and everything. But if you're using Speed to Lead and you're buying these leads, then you would have been able to know how many buyers do I have in the city or county prior to purchasing the lead. And that's what I would have based it off of. I want a minimum of 2,000 buyers inside of that county. That's what I would have been basing that decision off of. Now, when you say deals, I don't know if that means you have them under contract or if you just have the lead. But if it's a lead and I go in there and I look and I see that, hey, it's very rural, I don't have enough buyer activity. Some people would say, well, you could do a novation. Personally, for me, I stick with my hedgehog concept. I'm not just going to chase that. I might want to JV with someone that does a novation. But realistically, it's probably easier on your bandwidth, especially if you're trying to gain some traction, just to move on to the next lead. Move on to something that you know is going to be a deal and something that you can dispo. And more often than not, the lead is not going to be converted into a contract anyways. The vast majority of our leads are not closable for various different reasons. A lot of times people that are newer, they want to say, well, if it's a deal and I can close it, then I should close it. You can kill your business by trying to dispo a deal there's no buyer. There's no buyer activity, right? So you have to look at it and say, what's the best opportunity for my business? What are my thoughts on InvestorLip? We use it every day here at Titanium. I think it's a great tool. It's a great resource. I think Robert Winsley is always working to improve the tool itself. However, InvestorLip is not going to dispo your deals for you. You have to utilize the tool appropriately. You have to figure out how to use it. It takes time, and at times it's going to take manpower and bandwidth to get in there and utilize the different modes, whether it's Artemis mode, God mode, cartel mode, whatever it is. It takes time to use it. So it's a great tool. It's a great resource. It's revolutionized wholesaling on many different fronts. I need a purchase agreement for wholesaling. All right. Well, that costs money, but I'll drop the link in there. King Closers Formula.com/titanium profits. That comes with our comping and underwriting training as well. That's where our purchase agreement is available. Let's see here. Tyson, I had several leads where they owed more than what the house is worth, or way more than what they're worth. Should I just be quick advising for the most part and then moving on to the next? Yeah, I mean, if honestly, if the property is upside down and they're needing to sell and there's a hardship that comes along with it, that's a short sell. If they're just upside down and there's no hardship and the property for whatever reason has depreciated, then there's nothing that can be done there. They can't really do a short sell. They just kind of have to keep paying it until they catch up. That's pretty rare. I mean, I haven't seen that very many places. But yeah, there's not much you can do from a wholesaling perspective. Do you prefer iSpeed to lead or property leads? Well, I think as of right now, I'm supposed to say Speed to Lead just because they tipped me $19.99, which appreciate you, Gene. I love it. Get back to the question. Listen, they just did it again. What is Gene doing over there? Gene, this is going to be the most highly paid live of all time. I've already made $40. Listen, I've been working with Speed to Lead for longer. I will also say Speed to Lead listens to the feedback of Titanium better than any vendor out there. They are incredible with what they do. I've probably closed more deals with Speed to Lead than any other vendor out there. But at the end of the day, competition breeds greatness. And so if Speed to Lead were out there and they didn't have any competition, Gene would not be pressed to continue to revolutionize what Speed to Lead offers because he wouldn't have any competition. And so to a certain degree, we need property leads and we need Lead Solo to always be pressing Gene and vice versa to become better at what they do. And we've seen that over the past 4 years of Speed to Lead, right? It started off with the marketplace. You could spend $300, $400, $500 for a lead. Then they offered up the discount, the coupons, the coupon club. Then they introduced comps and deal speed and the amount of buyers. Now we've got the AI transcripts and the AI score predictor of the deal. And so they're always pressing to improve the product. And a lot of that has directly come from the feedback that the communities that use Speed to Lead. I don't know another community that uses Speed to Lead as much as Titanium. So I can only speak for what we do, but Titanium University is constantly giving them feedback. We're constantly giving them feedback, and I see results from that. And so from that perspective, from the length of time that we work together, the improvements and the customer service and the willingness to listen to their customer base, I mean, Speed to Lead is unmatched. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean you cannot do deals with property leads. Property leads is a great product, and I love working with them. That's why we work with them every day, right? So, again, this is kind of like, hey, which one of your kids do you like better? I love both of them. But Speed to Lead is a pillar for what we have built at Titanium. RJ, thoughts on wholesale MLM models versus wholesale owner? I'm going to pass on any wholesale MLM model. I don't know of many of those. I don't know where that exists or where that question came from, Paul, but I obviously I'm an owner of my company. I'm not franchised out. I'm not tagging along with anything else, and I absolutely don't think it's necessary to do that. Under contract in Dispo right now. Mythology, man, I would love to know, like, give me some cities where these are located. And I'll speak on this. I'm not going to pick on you, but this is a common occurrence right here. One of the things I've seen with at times when people are struggling with Dispo, I say it all the time. The ones that don't struggle are the ones that turn the lights on at all times. And like even right here, you were like, hey, what are your thoughts about rural dispositions? And then I ask you a question, and then you say it's under contract. It's in Dispo right now. Like one of the things you could have done is said, I have a property in Steamboat Rock, Iowa, and it's only got a population of this, and I'm struggling to find a buyer. Because then I could have really dove into that, right? I could have tried to solve the solution or given you a solution a little bit easier than just like, rural across the United States. Like Robert Winsley believes, a population of 99,000 is rural. I believe 600 population is rural, right? There's a different definition for that word, specific location. And then also you're on a live right now. This video will probably have a couple of thousand views on it. A buyer could have come along and watched this video and then reached out to you. You got to turn the lights on. How long do you expect to get a contract signed by a buyer once you? Well, it depends on the location, right? I mean, there's certain locations where when we get a property under contract, we expect to get it dispoed probably the same day that we get pictures, right? Now, there's other times where we get a property under contract and it's going to take a couple of weeks, especially when it's new, right? We do deals in all 50 states. And so, and it changes over the course of time too, because of the buyers change, right? I've also been doing this for a decade. The people that bought deals from me in 2018 and 2019, very few of them are still doing the exact same thing, right? Their business has evolved. There's a lot of people that were flipping back in 2018, 2019, that now all they do is wholesale. Well, I can't sell them deals anymore. There's people that have moved on to doing multifamily and other things. And so as time progresses and our buyer relationships change across the company, that expectation also changes. But the process that we use does not change, outside of the fact that if it's an area where we have a known buyer, we're instantly reaching out and we're trying to get that move as quickly as possible. Oscar says, just getting started in wholesale. I'm local to Kansas and currently using Speed Elite and Coupon Club for leads. I've been at it for about 3 weeks now. What markets would you recommend I focus on? It's not about what market. See, again, this goes back to what is your business, right? Are you a nationwide virtual wholesaler? Are you a Kansas wholesaler? Are you a Kansas City wholesaler? For me, I'm a nationwide virtual wholesaler and I use Coupon Club. Sounds like that's probably what you're trying to do. Here's what I would recommend. When you go to buy leads, you need to pay attention to 3 things: the motivation, the condition, and then the location. But the location is determined based off of the amount of buyers, not any other criteria. You need to know, do I have buyers here? Because if you do, then the deal can be disposed. If you don't have buyers, that's what hinders you. So I'm looking at, is the seller motivated to sell? Like, is there an indication that they'd be willing to sell this for a discount? Then is the property physically distressed? Another reason why they'd be willing to sell for a discount. And then do I have buyers? That's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on what market it's in. I'm sure I'm too early asking, but do you think we'll be doing more comping parties like on yesterday's implementation call? Yeah, we'll do more. Following your 0 to 1 million plan, trying to be strategic when buying leads, how can I ensure I increase my chances of closing a deal within my first month? Well, one, it has nothing to do with what leads you're buying. I mean, that if you just do what I just told you, which is motivation, physically distressed element, and then there's buyers, you should be able to close the deal. What's going to hinder you is your skill set on being able to close and identifying motivation and really being able to educate the sellers that want too much for their property. That's what you should be focused on. However, I don't give you a hard time whatsoever, because this is a constant thing that everybody feels. This is rampant throughout the industry, whereas we want to we go, well, I know I'm going to be able to close it if it's a closable lead. I think the definition of what is a closable lead and what should be closed and what shouldn't be closed is where we won't see eye to eye. I think the majority of leads at least are worthy of having the education process gone through. And that's where the majority of people that are newer in that first month are really going to significantly struggle. Also, I want to see whatever you're doing in that first month, make sure that you can do it for 3 months straight without having to change. So budget needs to be allocated for 3 months straight. The consistency of your follow-ups, getting a hold of the called no answers, these are the things that are going to change the game for you. You have to be able to do those. Thoughts on sending the contract versus reviewing it with the seller? Well, Paul, what I will say, you always want to review it with the seller if that is a possibility, right? So if they're in a position where they're at their computer and they can review it right then and there, and there's no other third party that needs to review that contract with them, send it. Let's review it together. Let's get it signed. However, I'm not going to not send the contract because they're not available. So say, for example, they're walking into work, or the wife is at work and not available, and they both need to sign it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send it. I put an expiration date of when that contract is null and void. And then I also set the expectation of when we were going to follow up. But I also explained to them, if the contract is not signed in the next 24 hours, it's then null and void and it's no longer available for you. The fear is that if we send a contract and it doesn't immediately get signed, then they're going to shop that contract and they're going to try to get a higher offer. The logic behind my reasoning is that if I send them the contract, at least they have the ability to sign it. If I don't, they're still going to shop my offer. I've already made the offer. They're still just going to verbally shop it. At least I want to open up as much opportunity for them to sign it as possible. I'm tired of doing transaction coordination while working on getting more contracts. Can you talk about EZ REI closing, process, cost, personal experience? Yeah, I mean, the process is very simple. In fact, they're super helpful in a lot of different circumstances in regards to the paperwork, especially if you're new to being in virtual markets. They have the title companies and the closing attorneys to work with, and sometimes it's their own title company as well. The cost depends on your deal volume, right? The more volume that you do, the lower the cost. I'll say it ranges anywhere between $300 to $1,000 per transaction, right? The $1,000 is like if you do a one-off transaction with them. $300 is like when you're doing some volume with them and you're kind of on a subscription model. My personal experience is the whole EZ REI team is amazing. We have had some TU members that have had issues. And they've immediately resolved it. And when I say immediate, I'm talking about like within an hour or so, it was like resolved. I know at one point in time, there was a transaction coordinator that actually messed up a transaction, and David actually fired the TC on the spot and got it resolved immediately, which to me is top-notch customer service. Are they perfect? No. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces that go along with transaction coordination, which is what you're feeling. So it's also about building that relationship, and you still have a responsibility in this. It's not like a hands-off, like, oh, I've hired a transaction coordinator, I don't have to be a part of that. There's still going to have to be things that you have to be involved in. It's just a different type of communication, and you're bringing on a team member that is going to be solely focused on that moving forward. But you as the business owner are still involved. So I personally, I don't ever do a transaction without having a transaction coordinator for the exact same reasons that you're talking about right there. I have a dispo manager managing that. She's struggling to find a buyer. It's a good deal too. I can't remember what we were talking about there, but I also listed on speed to lead, deal speed, and no bites. Oh, this is the Birmingham. Yeah. Well, again, listing it on deal speed, that is nothing. You just list it on a website. You got to work it. You got to pick the phone up. You said you got a dispo manager. I mean, that dispo manager should be hitting the phones all day, every day. Birmingham's a major city. I mean, that deal should be able to be moved. You should get feedback immediately on that. First time buying a super chat ever. Now RJ can't say we don't bribe him to talk good about speed to lead. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, let's see. Great part about speed to lead, you get refunded quickly. However, is it normal to get a handful of fake leads? So, Joe, I would say every PPL provider, they have a period of time where someone goes and tries to sabotage them with fake leads. It's actually happened during the 2023 50-50-50 with Lead Zolo. I had an entire day where all of my leads were just fake. I got nuked. And basically it was like, I think either the competition, my competition, or their competition went and did that. Is it common? No. Does it happen? Yes. And it's great that they take care of you, but you just got to keep going. We just added a script to every triple verified call lead. We actually heavily relied on RJ's public call to leads. Love it. Customer service is awesome at speed of lead. Love it. How do I rank the big dispo tools? Investor lift, investor base, deal speed. Well, they're all like different. So I've heard people say investor base is basically investor lifts God mode. I disagree, honestly. I think that's for people that don't give it an opportunity and probably also had just a shitty process. I never am in a fan of someone that complains about a tool, a vendor, when I know it works, right? It's one thing if I've never heard someone say, hey, I dispo all my deals through investor base. Well, all right, I've never heard anybody succeed with it, but when we use it and TU members use it and they love it, and then I have someone come in and be like, it's just God mode on steroids. It's like, all right, I disagree. For me, investor lift is the most high powered, right? It's also the highest price point. So it gives you the most and it costs the most. It makes sense. Investor base gives you the least, it costs the least, but it also gives you power to be able to do it. And some people have fallen in love with investor base where they've actually gotten rid of their investor lift. Deal speed, to me, is the newest, and I think they're constantly working to improve it. But I do think it's a little bit behind just from the results aspect, right? We need more people using deal speed and getting results and having people go in there from a buyer perspective and saying, this is where I'm getting my deals. I don't think that's happening yet, but I also know that Gene's going to continue to work on that and it'll eventually get there. It's just an opportunity for you to locate the buyers and to work it. So at the end of the day, they all pretty much do similar things, but you get what you pay for. Do I have any videos of me wholesaling listed properties? I do not. I don't do that. I used to do it from 2014 to probably the end of 2016, 2017. That's all we did. We probably did a couple of hundred. We don't really do it anymore. There's no reason to. It's unnecessary. The only reason why you would think it's necessary to wholesale listed properties is because you don't have the budget for lead generation. But lead generation is so cheap nowadays. It's like you're going to spend more time trying to work dispoing and acquiring a wholesale or a listed property. I don't see the benefit of doing it nowadays. It made sense back when the lead generation that existed was cold calling and direct mail and bandit signs. It was like, all right, that takes money, takes resources. Nowadays, you don't need that. Is it a fool's errand to expect success in a wholesale and real estate with agent listed properties? Well, I guess I just kind of answered that. Are there people that succeed at it? Yes. Haven't we done it and succeed? Yeah, but it was a decade ago or 8 years ago. I mean, I think just at some point in time, you got to graduate to like, what are we actually doing? We're trying to solve sellers' problems. If the property is listed on the MLS, I mean, haven't they already found their solution? Are there deals to be found there? Sure. Are you really providing a ton of value to your end buyer? Not really. Could you do it though? Yeah. I just don't know if it's where you want to build your business. By the way, it's Chase from TU running dispo for Adam Bevan. Oh, what's up, Chase? Brother, what happened to your name? When did you become mythology man? And why are you asking me questions on live when we have implementation calls all the time? Let's see. Sandia, Texas, huh? Sandia, Texas. Population 326. That sounds like it sucks. It's close to Corpus Christi. Yeah, man, you should be just hammering the Corpus Christi buyers. See, that's not rural. Hemp Hill, Texas. Let's see. What is that close to? Now that one's a problem. Hempville is rural. you might have some issues there. And again, I would have questioned why we took on some of these deals. Dexter, Missouri. I mean, you could pull buyers from Memphis. You could pull buyers from St. Louis, Jonesboro. I mean, I'd be pulling buyers from a lot of areas. So I think 2 out of the 3 are fairly decent there. Sandia, Dexter, Hemphill is the one that I'd be most worried about without knowing the numbers. I got a pay raise to $8,000 a month. What should I spend on marketing, PPO or PPC? I wouldn't run my own PPC. I would do PPO just to be point blank on that. I don't know what your bills are. I mean, I can't tell you what your budget should be. My 0 to $1 million plan is that you start off with 6,000 with 2 people, and then that's what would get you using Coupon Club and all of the other systems, right? Including Investor Lift and EZ REI closings and everything. That would get you to the $1 million. You don't need that right out of the gates, though. Set you a nice little budget to get you a daily flow of leads and just flow from there. That's more than enough money. I don't know what your bills are, but it sounds like you should be in a fairly decent position to get started. I have a lead for a trailer in Crossville, Tennessee. I'm willing to accept significantly less than it's worth. Do you think it would be worth getting under contract? Is the trailer on owned land or rented land? If it's on rented land, then it's probably not worth it. If it's on owned land, it's absolutely worth it. You just comp it against the other mobile homes on owned land. What's up, Tori? Taylor Ford. Taylor, why are you not in TU? All right, I'll let you answer that later on, but I have no idea why you're not in TU. Dropped into a new market. I've never done a deal on last Friday. Got a property under contract 3 days later. Got on Privy and sold it to an end buyer. Already doing deals in that subdivision. Florida. Boom. Why are you not in TU? I don't know. Smiles, get the iSpeed app if you have an iPhone and spin the wheel daily. Why? Bradley. Oh, brother. Man, literally my least favorite thing that is like said in 2025. Why are iSpeed to lead, cold call leads so terrible? Here's what I know. I buy the same leads as you, and I close them, and I make money. So based off of that and your judgment and my judgment, really, it's not that the speed of lead is terrible. It's that you're terrible and you lack the skill set, but you want to blame it on the leads. That's it. Because here's the facts. If the lead says, I don't want to sell, it's a refund. So it's not even a lead. It doesn't even hit your KPIs. If they do want to sell, that's literally all we ever want, is a seller to admit that they have a house that they want to sell. So why do people think consistently, it's not just you, Bradley, it's many people think that the cold call leads are terrible? I don't know. I've said this numerous times. I go in, I look at my system, I'm like, I'll buy the cold call leads. There they are. I closed them. We just closed the deal yesterday. I came for speed to lead cold call, like close it funded yesterday. I know for a fact because I was the one that closed it. It doesn't happen very often, but it was like, yeah, there it is. I don't understand. RJ, it's hard for me to come up with a name for my whole wholesaling business. I know, crazy, right? Double E Investments. Get you some. I'm sure you've touched on this before, but FSBOs. I was making my own list of FSBOs and reaching out with my Google Voice number and had a few offers go out, but none signed and can't afford to buy leads. The pink. Today's episode sponsored by the pink edition of Red Bull. Thank you, Red Bull. FSBOs are good when you don't have the money to buy leads. Now, there's a couple of things there. Why the Google Voice number? Get rid of the Google Voice number. It's not needed. You had a few offers go out. Let's change the language there. We don't need to make offers. Okay? Now, technically speaking, you're going to make an offer. But by offer, it means they have not accepted it. So the only time that we send a contract out is when they have said, I accept. We're the buyer. We need to know what they're going to do with our money. Embrace being that buyer, okay? So when you're on the phone with the next FSBO, say the FSBO is listed for $50,000 and your offer is going to be $40,000. You're going to look at them and you're going to say, okay, Lee, the most I could pay for this property would be $40,000 because I'm seeing that the ARV would be this, the rehab would be this. Based off my holding costs, closing costs, profit, I need to offer you $40,000. What do you think about that? If they say yes, then that's where you would keep them on the phone and then you would send them that contract and you get it signed right then. You don't want to send it out there and let it. And also you don't want to say, I offer you $40,000 and then let them think about that, right? That's the worst place because you're kind of in no man's land. So there's probably just some techniques that need to be adjusted. I would suggest one, you could go to titaniumvault.com/toolkit. Okay, that's free. And you can download, it's like 100 pages of like coaching on the closing process, the comping and underwriting process. That would help you out a little bit. And then maybe watch some of my seller calls. I've actually done 2 where I called FSBOs before, but the process doesn't change based off it being for sale by owner, right? You still looking to sell it. How much do you want for it? Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. Talk about the motivation. Figure out what that is, and then you go for the close. And if you have to educate them, you do that. But that closing process, stop looking as I'm sending offers, and it's more about we're coming to an agreement. When I'm ghosted by the seller for over a week and I'm still reaching out, what do I do next? How should I treat these? I've had 3 or 4 of these in the last week. Well, I'd like to know where you're at in the process when they're ghosting you, right? Is it you send them a contract and now they're ghosting you? That's common. You've already talked to them. Maybe you made them an offer or something and now they're ghosting you. The main thing is just being consistent in your communication and not giving up on it. That's what most people do. They give up, especially when it's like, this person hasn't answered or responded in a week. One of the things that I would point out to you, and I say this all the time, is we have no idea what's going on in that seller's life as to why they're not responding to us. We have a tendency to make up the story in our head where it's worst case scenario for us. It must be that they're shopping my offer. It must be that they're going with somebody else. It's probably nothing to do with the house, the real estate transaction whatsoever. And it's probably more to the motivation as to why they're wanting to sell that piece of real estate to begin with. And it's just even more of a reason why they need us. And so they need you to be consistent, to continue to follow up, text, phone calls, leave a voicemail every single time. Also, if you bought the King Closers War Chest from last November until today, right? KingClosersFormula.com/war chest. It comes with a Ghostbusters protocol. Love the name. And I actually talk about that in there. So I don't know if you have that training or not. But if you do, you could revisit that training as well. I had $2,000 in a Mari and Coupon Club, but in California. What's the best way to get a deal? Should I try leads outside of my backyard? Well, again, Bradley, this is the same question someone asked earlier about Nashville, right? Well, why do you need to do a deal in California? California is huge, by the way. So it's like, to me, if you're going to try to do a deal anywhere in California, you might as well just say I'll do a deal anywhere in the United States. California is one of the more difficult states, right? It's just there's a lot of nuances to it depending upon the market. right? San Francisco's priced out the wazoo. LA, San Diego, same thing. Fresno kind of has issues with cash flow, but lower price points. Just there's rural locations. There's a lot of issues that come along with California. And then also it's just a very volatile market out there. And so for me, it's like, yeah, why don't you go out of your market? If you're going to do a deal somewhere, 7 hours away in California, you might as well go get you some low-hanging fruit up in the Midwest. Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas. Those are great places to wholesale in. And it would be a breath of fresh air for you, right? Open yourself up. And then again, this is where you look at it and you say, what's going to be my heart? Dispo or acquisitions? Right now, your heart is acquisitions. You loosen that up and you get, hey, my heart's going to be dispo. But if I go get deals in locations where I can find buyers, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Missouri, Kansas, you might have to JV the first couple. You might have to go work your ass off on investor lift or investor base. That's okay. At least you have something to monetize. Right now, you don't. Triple verified leads are on par with Facebook leads in terms of closed deal percent. We do our best to filter out shit leads, but due to volume, some make it through. For this, we have a very generous refund policy. I agree. Can you recommend a dispo guy / team for any deals I lock up so I can focus on acquisitions? Well, it would be dependent upon the location, right? I mean, if you're a part of the vault and you go in there and you tag me and you just say, hey, RJ, I got a deal in Nashville, Tennessee. Who do you recommend? Well, that's going to be completely different if you say, hey, RJ, I got a deal in Houston, Texas, or hey, RJ, I got a deal in Orlando, Florida. So, yeah, I mean, just be a part of the vault, tag me on it, say I got a deal. Who do you recommend from TU? And I'll respond within a couple of hours. I'm very responsive on that stuff. So I wouldn't recommend it right now because I don't know where the deals are. After a few weeks, we accumulated close to 100 called no answer coupon club leads. So how long do you keep calling those before you put them to dead? I never. You just got to keep calling them. I mean, what I do with the called no answers, and you're getting there. I mean, you're at close to 100. Normally, I've got the queue where, say, whatever that magical number is for the acquisitions guy, okay? My magical number was 300. That's a massive number. I would not expect any acquisitions guy to want that or need that, okay? But let's say it's 100, okay? So you've got an acquisitions guy. His magical queue of leads is 100. On a daily basis, that would probably look like 10 new leads, 10 in follow-up, and then 80 called no answers. That's your queue of 100. And so you start off your day, you hit the 10 new leads, you hit your 10 follow-ups, and then you work the called no answers. And then whatever you kill from that day should be about 10. So now you go down to 90, 10 new leads the next day, and you just stay at that magical number of 100. And then the called no answers is just part of it. That's the acquisitions manager's job, is to get a hold of them. That's job number one. You've got to get creative with your voicemails, your text messages, whether you send a funny meme, a GIF, leave a funny voicemail, change up your call times, change up the phone numbers you're calling from, whatever you got to do. Is Jonesboro, Alabama a great market? I wouldn't say it's a great market because I don't even know where it is. Let me see. You've got to be saying Jonesboro, Arkansas, because Alabama. Is there a Jonesboro, Alabama? There is a Jonesboro, Alabama. Is this like technically part of Birmingham? So it zoomed me in. I don't even know where it took me. It looks like it's part of Bessemer. I don't know, brother. I mean, if it's Jonesboro, Arkansas, no, it's super low price points. It's got a college up there. I think it's Arkansas State. So you could possibly get cash flow price points super low. If it's part of Birmingham, which looks like this is whatever Google Maps took me to, is Bessemer, Alabama. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could do deals there. He gave me some good advice on a deal I'm working. I don't know who he is. Oh, Caesar. Gotcha. Seller wants 55,000, got her down to 35,000 so far, trying to get it locked up at 20. Might JV the deal with Caesar. Caesar's awesome to work with. Good job. What are the biggest time wasters or distractions that kill momentum for new wholesalers? One, not picking the phone up, calling sellers. Two, thinking that because you're not good at closing that you need to learn novation, sub two, seller finance. Majority of deals are cash. And then changing systems, softwares. Like Speedily Coupon Club sucks. Now I'm going to go use Leadzolo's $30 exclusive leads. I didn't close any deals, so I'm going to go try property leads. Oh, I'm going to go try Brent Daniels PPC. Oh, I'm going to go do this. It's the epidemic, right? Just put your nose down, be consistent, show up every day, call sellers, don't change the system, make cash offers. You don't need to know anything about creative when you're starting, and you'll be just fine. Yeah, I might fire this dispo manager if she can't even figure out how to blast my deal on investor lift. The numbers work 100%. Brother, if she can't figure that out, she ain't a dispo manager. Like, what are we talking about? That's a 8-minute task. Gotta go. Huge info on that implementation call this morning. Love it. Good job, Cassie. I need to work on building that credibility and trust with the seller. You do that with reverse rapport, okay? You got to go in there and explain the process. What are you going to do? How are you going to take care of them? How are you going to differentiate yourself from the competition? You do that with honesty, transparency, and authenticity. RJ, with your version of rural and the almost comps are a mile or so away and there's high motivation, the price seems just a bit high. What's your thought process when the price is firm? If the price is firm and the price doesn't work, it's not a deal. You move on to the next one. Yeah, educate. Keep repeating. Mr. Seller, what could the property be worth when it's fixed up? I think it's $200,000. They think it's $225,000, whatever. You got to come to an agreement on that number. How much is it going to cost for the property to be worth $200,000 and work? Get them to agree to that number, and then it's math, not magic. I currently have investor base. How can I get the best results from it? I love it so far, but what do you love using it for specifically? Locating the buyers, knowing what they buy for, and getting a hold of them. That's it. That's all we need. Turn the lights on. Who are my buyers? What do they buy, and where are they buying, and what are they buying for? That's what the tool's for, and then you get a hold of them. Got to work it, baby. Man, if you're making $8,000, you only got $600. I mean, throw a couple grand out there. Listen, I can't tell you how to spend your money. But you seem like you're in a pretty decent spot where most people wouldn't be. Utilize it. Just don't waste the money. Be consistent. This is my personal YouTube account, not my business. I follow you on both. Saw you live while I was eating. Figured I'd pop in. Appreciate you, Chase. It's on own land. Lock it up, baby. Make it a deal. That's it. Own land, mobile home. Comp it with other mobile homes, just like you would a house. That's it. Prop Stream is great for that. It'll show you mobile home. It'll show you all the other comps that are mobile home right there. That's how you do it. So they know to pick it up with an area code familiar to them. So that's why I have my Google Voice number. Nah, you're overthinking it. We use 817 area codes in all 50 states. Don't overthink it. I have a potential buy and hold under contract in Wichita Falls, Texas. Can you refer anybody who might want to have a look? A buy and hold? Buy and hold just screams to me like it doesn't have a lot of equity. That's why you're calling it a buy and hold. You probably bought it too high, specifically in like Wichita Falls. But I mean, a Ryan Jackson. You could reach out to Braden Bissell, who would want a JV, does a 70-30 split, 70 in your favor. If it was a flip opportunity, John Looney would be somebody you could reach out to. Nicolo Fazio is someone else you could reach out to. Those would be the main ones. So you're sending a contract and then they're ghosting you. Yeah, you probably are not doing enough on the credibility side and the reverse rapport. There's an unanswered question. So ask them at the end when you go to send them a question or you go to send them the contract, just ask them point blank. Is there something that I didn't explain well enough for you to be willing to sign the contract today? See what they say. Jolly Jenny said, hey, RJ, I just want to say hello. I'm working acquisitions here in Georgia, and your vlogs have been super helpful. We've got closing this June 13th. Thanks for all the value you share. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. Means the world. Great answer to my question. I really appreciate it. I will head to the Midwest to gain some confidence and momentum and keep an eye on California leads. But yeah, I need a change in scenery. That's common for most people on the West Coast. I mean, it's rough out there. It's rough out there for everybody. The average cost per contract is just going to be higher. The average assignment fee is going to be higher. So you get compensated for it. But probably you're in a position where you need to get some wins. Hey, if only you're making $5,000 or $7,000, it's better than making $0,000. So I've recently closed a pretty big first deal in April, and I've kind of just been lost with how I should reinvest it. It was a $40,000 deal, and I don't know if I should get exclusive leads or coupon. Well, why would you change what you did that worked? Why? First of all, whatever you did to get that deal, right? You should have been consistently doing it the entire dispositions process, the entire TC process, and the entire process since April, May, and now June, right? If you were already doing Coupon Club, you should be buying Coupon Club leads every single day. If you're getting exclusive, there should be exclusive leads coming in every day. I'm not saying it has to be a ton, but like what I was talking about earlier, like whatever your queue of leads are, there's a flow to that, and you should be replacing whatever left the system yesterday, whether it went under contract, it's sold, it's a dead lead, that should be getting replaced. Lead generation should never stop in your business. And so you've got to have that going on. And right now, I mean, listen, that your average cost per contract is probably going to be about the same whether you do exclusive or coupon. Your choice that you're making, again, just like I've been saying to everyone else, choose your hard, is am I willing to spend more money for the leads and then I have to call less leads to close, or do I want to spend less per lead and I have to call more leads to get a close? That's what you're choosing. That's it. Dude, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to help us. It's crazy knowing how much your time is worth. Appreciate you. Thank you for always tuning in. Let's see. I've done 4 small deals totaling for $32,000. I want to start getting actually consistent and rely on 1 to 2 deals per month. Should I start buying leads on Speed to Lead? Well, I don't know what you're doing right now for lead generation, but and I don't know what your budget is either, right? But yeah, you should be generating leads, Speed to Lead, Property Leads, Lead Zolo. They all have budget leads now, right? Speed to Lead, $200 a month, $29 a lead. It's great, you know. Someone, New Jersey Dan asked right here, how many leads is your team doing a month? It's not about how many they're doing a month. It's about what happened yesterday, right? How many sellers did we connect with yesterday? How many contracts did we send? How many did we kill? Are we hitting those metrics that we need to at least be getting the minimum amount of contracts that we need? And then whatever went out, we replaced today. And so, Dan, there'll be times where, on a one day, I might buy 85 leads. And then the next day, we might buy 10. We might buy 5. It depends on what happened the next day. It depends on how busy is that person with follow-ups. Did they have a 2-hour conversation to get a contract? Did they have an 8-minute conversation? Right? So there's a constant flow there. I will say, as of last week, I mean, there was one day I know for a fact my team bought 85 leads on Speed to Lead. There was another day we probably bought 35 leads. And then there was other days where we didn't buy any. We didn't need them because of what happened the day before. And so I'm a little bit different. I understand everyone wants to set budgets. I'm not big on setting budgets and sticking to it, because one of the other things that we see, this is across the board in every industry, people set budgets expire, end of the month, end of the week are great for closing deals. Closing a $35,000 deal with Tyler, a fellow TU student. Appreciate you, RJ. Appreciate you, Maximilian. That was a crazy. I need a video on that one, because that was a crazy deal that you guys did there. RJ, do you use buyers to determine a number or run comps to determine your number? So I think one, well, you're using the rental calculator. So you have our web training. Do I use buyers to determine a number or run comps to determine my number? So do I use as is comps? Yes. So we always start with ARV, right? What's the highest that we could sell it for? Reverse engineer it. Then we're going to go look at what is the current market value? What are the as is comps going for in the area? And we pay attention to that as well. But we have a ton of training out there in regards to that. That's a really hard question to answer in a short time frame. I mean, that's like we have hours and hours and hours of training on that topic. If there's one thing that I feel like gets overshadowed the most in wholesale and real estate, it's got to be title companies. Is there a difference among the companies? What's the process look like? Yeah, I mean, title companies, there's good and there's bad. I mean, sometimes the good becomes bad. It's an ever-changing thing. Escrow officers, they love to change title companies every 2 years, it seems like. I normally I pay more attention to the escrow officer than I do the company, right? Dana Draper in Dallas-Fort Worth is who I've used forever. She's been with probably 4 or 5 different title companies over the past decade, right? We have our market PDF. We update that probably once a quarter. You can just reference that. And then also if you use EZ REI closings, they have title companies that they use themselves. They recommend. I wouldn't overthink it, though. It's not like rarely is it a game-changing moment on what title company you use. Would you advise against relying on coupon club leads in Cleveland if it's my home market just starting out? No, I mean, Cleveland's a great market. And then I wouldn't just be stuck on Cleveland, because Ohio is one of the best states out there for wholesaling. So, I mean, like you can't not buy in Akron. You can't not buy in Canton. You can't not buy in Youngstown, right? Go all the way out to Sandusky, right? If I were to say what I would eliminate from Ohio, especially if you're new, because the comping and underwriting is going to be hard for you, super low price points in Cleveland, Toledo, and Dayton. Those are probably going to be the areas that are going to be the most difficult for you to comp and underwrite. But Ohio is a great market. And then, yeah, Coupon Club, there's plenty of leads in Ohio at all times. We don't do it. We stopped in 2022 when the regulations changed. If I had no money to little money, what would I do? I'd go get me a FSBO deal, work my ass off, get it under contract, dispo it, JV it with somebody, get a deal across the finish line, using no money. One way or another, I'd figure it out, and then I'd reinvest that into Speed of Leads Coupon Club. I'd be off to the races. We're playing golf, my treat, somewhere before the end of the year with Danny H. You guys and Cassie are truly appreciated. All right, let's do it. Thank you, RJ, for the value you provide the community. I appreciate that. How do you handle a lead when the lead has already been purchased by other investors? I don't care. Close it, baby. That's a competition. Every lead has been talked to already. I mean, there is no such thing as an exclusive lead, so it is irrelevant to me. Our competition sucks. I will tell you, we are in the works of creating a video where I am going to be trying to sell a deal to wholesalers, and I'm going to show you guys how bad their processes are. And I have no idea. There will be good processes in there, but I will show you how absolutely horrible it is. On Speed of Lead, how do you know which leads come from a cold call or SMS? It tells you on the far left side, triple verified lead, Josh buys houses, SEO, Facebook, nationwide lead. It tells you right on the far left side before you purchase it. Would it be fair to ask someone while JVing to walk you through the dispo / explain to you what comes up in TC and renegotiation? Well, here's the thing. They shouldn't coach you. They're not getting paid to coach you. So to walk you through the dispo, yeah, I feel like that would be somewhat inappropriate. Explain to you what happens in the TC and renegotiation. Well, one, you should be handling the renegotiation if you're the acquisitions partner, because you're the contact. At TC, normally the dispo partner will handle the TC. That's just as simple as like, hey, can you CC me in on the TC communication so I can be updated on when the title commitment comes back? If there's something in that report, that's absolutely normal. But getting coached through a JV, I think that's pretty inappropriate. All 4 of the deals I closed were pocket listings from agents. I want to generate more high quality leads, and it seems all the players do direct seller. I have a budget about, brother, $15,000 is just an absolute monster budget in comparison to 99% of the industry. Like, yes, get you test running. 2,000 with speed lead, 2,000 with property leads, 2,000 with lead Zolo. You'll get a ton of leads. You'll figure out which one you resonate with the most, the refund policy you like. Test run it, get it out there. But yeah, dude, generate some leads. You got plenty of money. $3,500 to spend a month on speed to lead. What type of leads would I buy? Man, I would join Coupon Club and I'd be doing the active leads. So $200 a month and then $59. So you got $3,300 divided by $59. You get 56 leads. You should easily be able to close 3 to 4 of those at minimum. Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would be doing. Coupon Club and active leads. Yeah, 15,000 total. The 15,000 is what you got right now. I mean, you start spending money on lead generation, you should close deals. It's not like it just goes away. It's just a great starting point. I mean, my expectation would be with 15,000, I go invest 6 of it, I'm going to have like 80, 100 sitting behind me. And we never talked about this again. How many times a day do you rehearse your formula before you get on a call? It's ingrained. It's just what we do. I don't ever rehearse it. Hey, RJ, I've closed 3 virtual wholesale deals, mostly land in Florida. That's awesome. No check since February. That's not awesome. Calling full-time from Puerto Rico, 7,000 in debt, 2,000 left. What exact moves would you make to get paid in 30 days? Man, Oswald, that's well, one, let's eliminate the 7,000 in debt. The 7,000 in debt, I know it exists and it feels like a lot, but that could go away real easy, okay? Appreciate you sharing it, though, so I understand the severity of the situation. The 2,000, you're probably going to need that to, like, live. So let's assume we got nothing. I would probably go into the vault and ask, is there anyone that has leads that I can work? Or if you don't want to do that, with 2,000, what can I get on Coupon Club? 1,800 divided by 29. You get 62 leads. You can probably get 1 to 2 deals out of that. But you got to, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's happened since February. And I don't know where those other leads came from. But we got to get you in front of the sellers. We got to turn the lights on. So there's got to be an opportunity for you to be on the phones 8 hours a day, one way or another. Speed of lead is obviously the cheapest way to do that with the Coupon Club. Or reaching out to someone that has some older leads that they're not touching. How do you comp in non-disclosure states? Privy, PropStream. They have MLS access, and it gives you the comps. I can't wait for that video. Good. I can't wait to record it. It was almost today's live. I almost did it live today. How to get better at comping and speaking with the seller, how to perfect that skill. Man, I got so many videos on that. I mean, why did my question get skipped? I don't know. Let me go all the way back and see where your question is. I don't have a question from you on my screen. I'm all the way back at like 253. But there you go. I answered that question. I don't know. I didn't see it. Do I JV deals in the Houston area? Yep. JV at titaniumvault. For reference, my hedgehog is virtual wholesale and vacant land in Florida via cold calling. Oh, that's why. Cold calling is so rough, man. Oh, that's why we don't have any deals. Yeah, we gotta get leads. You gotta be able to talk to it. And then I would also expand out of the vacant land. I mean, it's good. You can do vacant land, but we got to get deals. So I love the hedgehog concept. It's just a little too precise on the lead generation side of things. How about VAs? I've been thinking about utilizing VAs to cold call. No. There's just no need to do it. When someone JVs together, is there a way that the JV partner doesn't see the end buyer? I mean, are you that worried? I mean, what are you worried about? That they're going to know who your buyer is? I mean, is there a way? I'm sure there's a way that you could possibly do the transaction if you really needed to. I don't see the reason why you would need to do that. With $2,000 a month budget for marketing, would you recommend spending $500 a week and working fresh leads weekly, or spending the whole $2,000? No, you daily. So you're gonna spend $500 a week. All right, buy your leads. 5 went away. 5 new ones the next. Same answer I've given 5 times in this. But no, you definitely don't go drop 2,000 on all of them on day one, because these are people's lives. They're motivated to sell their house. They're going to go find a solution. They're not going to wait on you. 1,000 a month for 6 months on Coupon Club is my plan until I get that first check. That sounds good. I put it again, 6 comments up from this comment. Brother, whatever question you're asking is getting blocked by YouTube. Let me see if I can see it on my phone. Clearly you're using a word that YouTube is blocking because it's not coming through. I mean, can anybody else see Taj's comment besides the one that he says I put it again, 6 comments up from this comment? No one can see it. Using your calculator in Ohio, what profit percentage are you giving your buyers? I'm in Ohio. We don't pay attention to the profit percentage. It's based around the amount of repairs and the price point of the property to the amount of profit. So, for example, if I'm doing $150,000 ARV, I'm going to put $40,000 worth of work. My profit's probably going to need to be about $40,000. If I'm doing a $500,000 flip, I'm doing $75,000 worth of work. I'm probably going to need about $75,000 worth of profit. So in the web training, on titanium profits. If you're using that profit calculator, it goes over that. But profit percentage is not the number that we go off of. No, brother. Whatever words that you're using in that question, you need to change it because it is being blocked. Sorry if you answered this, but how do you know a speed to lead is from a cold call, SMS, and not a PPC? It tells you on the far left side before you purchase it what the lead source was. You're the man, RJ. I'm joining the coupon club, and I'll keep you updated on my wholesale journey. What do you think is a realistic but tough goal to set for myself? Knowing I closed 4 deals for $32,000. I don't know how long it took you to close the 4 deals for $32,000. I mean, aim for $250,000 this year. Start there. I mean, if you make $250,000, is that good? Most people feel like that's a really good living. And so if you can do that, then you have a proof of concept, and then you can go up from there. I still don't see Taj's question. Taj, I can see everything you're typing except for a question. Just ask your question another way. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions, RJ. Hopefully we'll be joining TU once I got the money. Appreciate that. There we go. Taj, you got through. Foreclosure. Sell date, June 17th. Seller owes $168,000. Auction bid, start price $105,000. ARV $295,000. Repair $36,000. What should I do? So it's already foreclosed and it's going to auction and they're starting at $105,000. I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to get bid up super high. I mean, that I don't know where's the auction at. Is it like Hubzu or auction.com or something like that? Because I can promise you, any auction is not going to stay at that 105. And if you're bidding at an auction, it's going to get auction.com. Yeah, bro. Hey, honestly, that's a whole animal to tackle. You're gonna get it's gonna get bid up. You're gonna have to put money on file like before, and then it's gonna instantly go to the title company, earnest money deposit, non-refundable. Like there's a lot that goes along with that. I would move on. I've done a handful of deals from Hubzu and auction.com, but it's hard, man. It's a whole game that you got to play. They don't really shine like very, very nicely on wholesaling. You're probably going to do a double close on it. And even there can be restrictions. I'd probably move on to something else. It took you 5 months for those 4 deals. That's okay. $250,000. That's your goal. What are my thoughts on doing deals in Delaware? Listen, Delaware can be good. It's just small. I mean, it's just so small. It's hard. I mean, there's just not a lot of houses. There's just not a lot of people. I'll do a video on it. I mean, we've done deals there. Dispositions can be pretty good. I've noticed that the further south you go, the harder it is. But it's just a tiny little place. We quit cold calling it in the end of 2024. It's unnecessary. There's no reason to do it. I mean, speed to lead is cold calling. Like all the cold call companies out there basically are selling their leads to speed to lead now. So why not just take those leads? If you want a cold call, just do speed to lead. Now you don't have to manage the list. You don't have to manage the VAs. You don't have to have a dialer. You don't have to anything. You just wait until the lead comes in. And then you can do the AI transcribe and be like, oh, this is a good one. Buy it. It's just unnecessary. Oswald, the motivation should be emergency reasons, tired vacant landlord, vacant non-occupied house, financial distress, and then the physical condition of the property needs to be distressed, and then the location. But not just financial hardship, because financial hardship does not necessarily mean that they need to sell for a discount. What do I wish I did earlier to make more money faster in this business? I wish I just would have stayed in the wholesaling and not chased what everybody told me I should do. I mean, it's like today I saw, there was this group of individuals that were talking about everybody needs to be doing novations. Bring us novations. We'll JV. You don't need to learn the closer formula. They've been in the vault. They've straight up attacked me. You don't need the hedgehog concept. You don't have to educate the seller. You could just do a novation, do this or do that, bragging about how many deals they've done. I've asked them about how many novations have you actually gotten to the closing table. They said an astronomical number. It was like 92% of them made it to the closing table or something like that. And then today, it comes out 180 of those novations, only 2 have made it to the closing table. The person running this admitted this today. Only 2 have made it to the closing table. There's so many shiny objects in this industry that for me, it's like, I just got to ask the question about why not do cold calling? Why not just do PPL, wholesaling, cash, and not worry about anything else? If I could go back and redo my entire career, I would start right now today and only do PPL, only do cash wholesale deals, and not worry about anything else. And literally just ignore all of the noise. I don't need to know about anything else. And I will make more money than what I know what to do with. Is cold calling dead? No, it's not dead. It's just you don't need to do it. Other people are out there doing it, and you can just get the leads, which is what you want anyways. Hey, RJ, just joined. $1,500 a month budget. I don't know if I should buy coupon or exclusive coupon. Feel like seeing all the people that could have bought the lead makes it less valuable, essentially. Well, yeah, that's why you're paying less money. It literally is less valuable. But your budget forced you into that. That's like saying I'm on a tight budget for food, but I don't want to buy the cheap food in the grocery store because it's not going to taste as good. Well, that's true. It doesn't taste as good. But you haven't earned the right to have the good tasting food yet. So you're on a budget. You're going to get the less valuable leads. You got to work. You got to earn that right. And right now, at $1,500, it's just not enough. You need more volume in your leads, so you have to buy the coupon club leads. It's a Facebook lead. Figured I could lock it up at $150. I don't understand that. I thought you said it's already foreclosed and it's going to auction. Are you saying it's a pre-foreclosure and the auction date is set? Because if that's the case, that's way different. But if it's on auction.com and it's already foreclosed and there's an auction date set, like that's a whole different ballgame. So there's 2 different things here. So I'm unaware as to what's happening there with that lead. If it's auction.com, and it's already foreclosed, then you got to go through auction.com. If it's a pre-foreclosure and you got a chance, but listen, you better be damn sure that you can get that deal closed, because you're messing with someone's entire life right there with a foreclosure. Is Mississippi the worst state to wholesale in? No. It'd probably be West Virginia, North Dakota, Vermont. Vermont's pretty rough. West Virginia, just because the whole place sucks. Would you ever do your own PPC, do everything in-house? No. And here's a funny thing. I have absolute monster marketers on my team. Like Nick Robbins and Sema Robbins are, I mean, savages. And we would not do it. We would not do it ourselves. There's not a need to. There's no reason to do it yourself. I have yet to see anyone come to me with an argument as to why. And even Nick and Sema agree. And only do nationwide PPO, or are you buying expensive leads? Do we buy expensive leads? Yeah, we'll buy expensive leads. I mean, I'm not going to be like, no, I don't buy the expensive leads. I mean, yeah, I'll buy them. Are you getting an affiliate list for speed to lead? Do I get paid for an affiliate for speed to lead? Yeah, everybody could get that. Yeah, you just literally tell them if they use your link, then you get paid. That's literally every single speed to lead account has that. In fact, I did a video about speed to lead, breaking down the entire process. And the second thing I said was, when you set up your speed to lead account, set up your affiliate account. That's not like a hidden thing. I get affiliates from PropStream, Privy, Batch, Speed to Lead, LeadZolo, Property Leads, Funding Grow, REI Sift, Investor Lift, Investor Base, Resembly, EZ REI Closings. Shit. There's good money in affiliate marketing. However, it's also really shitty because there's times where you can tell someone like you, like, hey, you should use Speed to Lead, and you don't use my link, and I don't get paid. It's not like us. I always tell people it's like getting a bonus. I tell everybody inside to you, like, hey, turn your lights on. Tell people what you do. You should get paid for that. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. Majority of the time when people use your stuff, they get a discount. There's a benefit for it. Why not? Should I not get paid for sitting here and talking about it? I also get paid just because you're watching my YouTube channel. Houses built in the 60s that still have galvanized steel and plan on flipping it. Would you think of replacing all the plumbing, and how much do you think that costs for 1,000 square foot, for example? I will say that we have had to do that on several flips that had galvanized plumbing. If you like try to wholesale that to like a hedge fund or something like that, they could definitely kill the deal because of it. If I were flipping it, I would probably allocate for it because it could come up on an inspection, especially depending upon your location, right? 1,000 square foot house, that's going to be pretty expensive. I don't know if I would, because it depends. Are you going all the way out to the sewer in the street? Is it going to a septic? But that's probably going to run. I mean, listen, I'm not a plumbing professional, but the few times I've had to do it, one time it cost me $30,000. It was probably for a 2,500 square foot house. So I don't know, just based off of that, somewhere in the $12,000 to $15,000 range. RJ, would you ever show us buying the lead, sending the contract, and then doing the dispo? Well, I just did a video where I literally bought the lead and then closed it. I just also did a video where I called the seller, hung up with the seller, called, talked to a JV partner about the dispo. I've also posted several videos of me dispoing a deal. So, I mean, yeah, I've got that out there already. Will I do it again? Sure, I'm sure I will. But I've got similar variations of that already existing on my channel. PPO would be the best for you. LeadZolo is your favorite lead generator. LeadZolo is one of the three. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Are inbound leads better than cold call leads? No, I don't look at that. Motivation, condition, location. What I'm looking at. If a deal doesn't work for a flip, but there's some rental activity in the area, it might yield 9 to 11 cap. Should I bother getting it under contract and try to assign it to buy and hold? Your job as a wholesaler is to get a property under contract for a discount, not to manufacture a deal. So it's about providing equity and then, if possible, cash flow. So equity first. And this is so market dependent. I mean, if you were to go to someone and say, I got a 9 cap in Jackson, Mississippi, you would get laughed out of the state. Tell someone you got an 11 cap in West Virginia, and they're going to be like, I got 11 caps for you too. What are you talking about? Like, I don't know. You go to someone and say you got a 10 cap in Highland Village, Texas, that's all different, right? So it's about the equity first, though. What is the definition of wholesale? It's for discount. So that's our job. What are my top marketing? Speed to lead, lead Zolo, property leads. That's all we use. Are you against sharing with the community how much Titanium Investments makes per month, just like Eric Klein shared? I don't know what Eric Klein shared. I don't follow him, so I don't know what he shared. I've done that. I do this every Tuesday. In fact, AJ, I go through this all the time, so I don't know what Eric did. Did he do like a breakdown of like showing what he spent and how much he made? And that's awesome. I have no problem doing that. But I get asked this question like every Tuesday live. It cracks me up. It's always someone new that I don't know who it is, and I'm like, all right. I shared it last week. I'm like, I don't necessarily really like it, just because it has been leveraged against me. I talked about this a little bit last week, so I'll share it again because you probably weren't here. But like, I'm an administrator of my grandmother's estate. I have some family members. I mentioned one time someone asked me on this Tuesday live how much I make. I said it. They leveraged it against me in a lawsuit. I got hit up by 15 different people asking for money. What I'll say this is I have no financial need that I can't accommodate. I am a very blessed individual. My team is happy. My team members, the ones that are commission based specifically, they probably make more money than anyone their age should be making. So I mean, we're doing just fine, and I think we proved that with the content that we put out, showing the deals, the people that we've done deals with in this industry, the TU members that back that up. I think there's enough proof of concept out there that I don't need to come in and flash a specific number. I think that's just for show, honestly. Pre-foreclosure, but the auction date is June 17th. I'm not sure. Her lender said if she comes with a purchase agreement, they will delay it. So, Taj, yeah, I mean, listen, you got to make sure you got a good deal on your hands, and you got to make sure you're going to be able to dispo it. That's a great lead. Sounds like you can be able to do it, but I would make sure that you can actually dispo it. So if I'm trying to close 2 deals per month from Speed to Lead Coupon Club, how many leads should I expect to be buying each week? It's 25 Coupon Club leads to a contract. That's the KPI. Can I bring up people to talk to you? I cannot this today. No. I see. How are you tracking KPIs for PPL? We use Resimply for our CRM, and that's where we track our KPIs. Would you recommend PPL leads all over USA, even states that have laws against wholesale? Yeah, there's always a way to do the deal, even though there's regulations. Got a deal in Kinston, North Carolina. How'd you go about disposing a deal in a lower end market like this? Kinston. See where that is. Yeah, I would reach out to, there's 2 TU members, Keith. You could go into the vault, okay? That's our free Facebook group. If you haven't joined it, it's in the description of the show that you're watching right now. You can join the vault. Josh Wagner and Anthony Maldonado. I'd reach out to both of those. Anthony Maldonado just disposed a deal in Dunn, North Carolina. Josh Wagner has buyers across the state. Those TU members can probably help you out. Also, what are your thoughts on Colorado? That's my home state when it comes to wholesaling. Great for dispo. Pretty hard on acquisitions. Rural locations, not as harder, but can be higher assignment fees. All this game for free. You can make thousands more instead of sitting here for hours on YouTube helping everybody. So thank you. What do I mean by cap? It was a joke. cap rate. What kinds of motivation do you look for with PPL? Emergency reasons, vacant non-occupied houses, tired landlord, financial distress. Sometimes if it's like a physically distressed property and it's retirement elsewhere or moving from the United States, I'll do those as well. Thanks, RJ, for answering my questions and always dropping value. I tune in as often as possible. I'd love to join Titanium one day, just not there yet. So grinding and staying consistent. Let's get those deals done. All right. Focus on the motivation, the condition, and the location. How do I feel about Richard Taylor and his on-market approach? What I've seen of Richard, I don't watch a lot of his content. I did a closer reacts. I thought he was brilliant on the close. He seems like a really nice guy. I've heard some positive things about his community. Outside of that, I can't really speak on it because I don't really consume other people's content. Thanks for answering all the questions, RJ. So how does TU work? What will we get? So Titanium University, real simple. It's a one-time payment, and then you're in for life. We run implementation calls every single day, Monday through Friday. Normally it's 2 are done by me, 2 are done by my partner, Cassie, and 1 is done by my other partner, Nick. On those calls, we'll do live seller call reviews. We'll do comp reviews. We'll do dispositions training on like sell Cassie your deal. We'll do live comp reviews together. Sometimes it's just Q&A to go over things. The other day we did comp relay races with people going over things. Sometimes it's just literally like this. Like, let's break down what is your need? What can I help with your business? People will bring on their acquisitions managers, disposition managers to get training on there. Then, of course, you get a course. You get access to the community, doing deals. Like next week, we're bringing on a new class. It'll be our 17th class so far. We're going to be doing a challenge in June based around deals and community engagement together. And then there's winners inside of that. They get prizes and different stuff like that. So just daily training, daily access to me and Cassie, and access to the community. All right. I entered land flipping last month, but like hearing your lives of property sellers. Very valuable to me. So thanking you for taking time to share a game with the community. You're welcome. It's a deal in an active market. I have lift, base, prop string, prop wire. I can dispose. Do it, baby. Why join TU and why is surrounding yourself with a community so important? Well, I think for one, a lot of people feel lonely as an entrepreneur, right? When things go bad, I mean, like you guys get value here on these lives. But I get to know the members. I know what they're going through on a personal level. I know where their deal flow is. I get to know like the insides of their business, and then from there, I'm able to try to help as much as I possibly can. I'm passionate about doing that, probably more than I am anything else in my career. Always trying to come up with different ways to do that. Why? Sometimes TU is not the right fit for people. You know, if you're not going to utilize that, you're not going to show up for the calls and be engaged in the community, then it's probably not the right fit for you. But if that's something that you're looking for and you need that, or you desire to have that community outreach and to have people surrounding you, and you don't feel like you're doing this game by yourself, then it's absolutely the best place to be. How often do you go live and do Q&As like this one? Every Tuesday at 2:22. When targeting coupon club leads, is there a certain day max that we should go past? For example, a lead came in on May 29th, and please let me know the motivations that are best. So I've answered the motivations multiple times. So I'll do it one more time. Emergency reasons, vacant non-occupied house, tied landlord, financial reasons, and then if the property is physically distressed, I'll do like moving from the United States or retirement elsewhere, something like that. if the lead is sold, then you get your money back. You get a refund. So no, there's not a cutoff date. Am I going to Hyenas tonight? I do not plan on going to Hyenas. Privy or prop stream, Texas, Houston, to be exact. I like Privy. Cassie likes prop stream. If you're only going to have one, I'd pick prop stream. My past few deals have actually been land, but it was kind of by default, not by choice. Really enjoyed land. Was wondering if you do land and where you would find consistent leads for land. Yeah. Speed to Lead has land. You can request that from Leadzolo and Property Leads and see if they can work out something to only give you land. But Speed to Lead has land leads. It pops up as a choice. And yes, we do land. How much do I need to spend on marketing to make $50,000 a month? What was that, like three and third deals a month? It's not that much. You're averaging 15,000. Depends on what you're doing for lead generation. You're doing coupon club. You don't need that many leads. You can do it for a couple of thousand, to be honest with you. But that people would say, that's crazy, RJ. How could you say you can make that much money? You got to close deals. It's not about how much you're spending. It's about how your close rate. That's why I say we're in the golden age of wholesaling. You don't have to spend that much money to make that. Some people would say I'm lying. They'd say, prove it. Do prove it all the time. I'll do it on Thursday. Everybody calling $30 leads. See how many deals me and Jerry get. Any tips for what specific leads to start buying in my LA market? The same leads I've been saying this entire time. Zach, you keep asking me the same questions. You think I'm going to give you a different answer? Brother, I've repeated myself the entire life. It ain't going to change. And why do you want to buy leads in LA? Just because you want to get your teeth kicked in? Go buy you a lead in Akron, Ohio, so you can close a deal. How's it going, RJ? I'm looking for a good contract to use. I've been using the single page one from Ask Flipman. Just seems too basic. Do you sell one or provide one at all? I do. I will put it in the chat. KingClosersFormula.com/titanium products comes with our comping and underwriting training and our profit calculator as well. Dude, never say how much you make. Fuck the public, LMAO. You give us enough information, support, and do enough for the 2025 wholesaling community. Facts, Matthew. Well, I think it's crazy. I mean, to a certain degree, it makes sense where you want to like prove the concept, but that's also for people like if you just sit down and all you do is podcasts and you never really prove that you're doing the business, well, then you need to kind of prove it every now and then. But if I'm constantly doing it, and like I said it on one live and I got just bamboozled by people wanting money. And it was like, all right, this is not worth it. Like someone I've never engaged with before comes on my YouTube channel named AJ and says, how much money do you make? Do you want to prove yourself like Eric Klein? It's like, no, I don't want to compare myself or do anything like Eric Klein. Like I disagree with how the man runs his business and carries himself. So I don't want to be like that. Wanted you to talk about the community because it's been very impactful to me. Well, Matt, I enjoy having you in the community, brother. I really want to get that deal across the finish line. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get that done. Bless you, RJ. Don't feel like you're obligated to anything for these people to watch your shit. I appreciate that. Is calling new leads on a Sunday a bad idea? No, I would just be respectful. You know, maybe 12 to 4 on Sundays. What do you mean if by the lead is sold, you get a refund? If you buy a lead and you call them and they've already sold the house to somebody else, you get your money back. They don't want to sell or they've already sold to someone else, you get a refund. RJ, I really appreciate you taking your time to help us all out and answer our questions. I'll be attending these lives every Tuesday. Appreciate it. Central Time Zone, 222. Am I happy? Brother, I am. Huh. I live the best life. I do. I absolutely love what I do. We had to work so hard to get to this point. So sometimes it cracks me up when I hear just different things. But no, man, I love my life. I love it. Is there a way to do a video on comping where we could comp with you to see if we get the same ARV? Yeah, we could do that. I think we've done one like that a while ago, but yeah, we can bring that back. Is virtual flip leads any good? Never heard of it. I don't know what that is. So I can't speak on it, but I don't use it. I am saying me and Jerry will close $30 leads on Thursday. Yes, I am saying that. I just did it. I just did it 2 weeks ago with property leads, $30 leads. I talked to 6 sellers. I got 4 contracts in 2 hours. That's what I tell you guys. I'm like, we do it. We literally do it. We do it live. I'm going to do it live on Thursday with Jerry. And you know what's funny? Property leads is literally going to be giving us the worst leads. The worst. They laugh about it every time because people always assume that we're getting the best. We will be getting the worst leads that no one wanted to purchase. And I guarantee you both of us get a deal. Guaranteed. So that will be Thursday at 2:22. Do I have any good recommendations for a title company in Massachusetts? If you go to this website, you can download this amazing PDF for free, titaniumvault.com/toolkit. Download that. It's over 100 pages, including all the title companies that we recommend in each and every state, including Massachusetts. Have you ever had a time where you didn't close a deal for a good portion of time? Yes. And if so, how did you feel during that time? Like shit. And what was the turning point for you? When I realized it was up to me to turn it around, pick up the phone, call more sellers, and stop being a little bitch. That's what I told myself. And it worked. We're still surviving, baby. 15 years of entrepreneurship and going on our 11th year of being in wholesaling. I love it, man. Listen, at the end of the day, it's up to us to not get consumed in the negative of I'm not closing deals. All the leads are bad. You just got to put the work in, show up day in, day out. All right, last question. I've been thinking about getting my CDL or getting into a trade to fund my wholesaling career and other business I'd like to start. Do you think this is a good path? Do you have any suggestions or ideas on what to get into to have enough funds for life as well as wholesaling and other business starting? Why not start your wholesaling business? You're going to go do something else. Why not start your wholesaling business? Yeah, you're going to go be a truck driver and all that. You're not going to have any time. You know how many houses I bought from truck drivers because they don't have any time? So if you want to do that, do that. If you want to be a wholesaler, get started. Am I dumb trying to buy leads for me to flip at deeper discounts than what local flippers are willing to pay? Flippers around me are happy making 20, 30K in a flip, but I need to be at 40. No. But I mean, your deal flow is going to be lower. But if you can get a deal for 40 and then they're willing to make 30, why not get your deals and sell it to them and make 10 and just not do any work? Last question, and then I'm out. RJ, I've closed 2 wholesale deals and went with a part-time job to go all in. I hate cold calling, but I'm solid with motivated sellers. Should I hire a BA now or keep grinding calls myself? You need to do PPL. If you got money, stop cold calling. It sucks. The cost per lead, the cost per contract is no different than PPL. Do PPL. Literally, speed of lead is paying the cold caller, the data, everything else, to cold call and hand you the lead. That's all you need. So go get that. All right, guys. Appreciate you. If you got value out of today, make sure you like the video. We'll see you guys on Thursday.